Welcome back to Heroes Next Door. Thank you all for watching. Today we're in Exton, Pennsylvania with the West Whiteland Police Department. They have one of the new vehicles. It's a 2021 Ford Explorer, and we're going to take a look at this one. So today we're working with Tom Evans. He's one of the police officers here at West Whiteland, and he's got some inside scoop on this and some of the personnel, right?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you for inviting us out. Let's go take a look.
All right, Mike. Let's go check out. This is one of our patrol units. It's car 4113, and introduce Mike Gardner. He's one of the officers on my squad.
Okay. Thank you for inviting us out.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yep, nice to meet you. First of all, I want to say this color is phenomenal. I noticed when I was walking up here, you guys used to do white. Are you switching over to this kind of silverish color?
This will be the first car of a transition into all silver cars.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I like the blue on the silver, everything like that. Gorgeous car.
Sharp, yep.
So, all right, so on the inside of this thing, let our audience know, what do you have? This is your workspace, right?
Correct.
So you spend a lot of time in here.
12 hours at a time.
What do you got in there?
So going left to right, we kind of just have a spotlight. You know, it's kind of self-explanatory. There's a couple features that Ford has in these cars that are pretty, useful to us. One of the features being that we can actually keep the car running, but take the key out, which is just a safety precaution. If somebody were to gain access to our car, they wouldn't be able to drive away with it.
Okay.
Also, it has perimeter alert, which almost sets a radius behind the car. If somebody were to approach my vehicle when I'm in park with the perimeter alert on, it would actually beep, roll my windows up, and alert me to where they are in relation to my vehicle on a little display.
Okay. Is that unique for the 2020 model, or is that something that you kind of have to special order?
So this is the 2021, but the 2020 was the first model I saw it on that we got in our new cars. But it's definitely a nice feature just for safety when we're typing
I mean, if we think about some of the
cars.
incidents that happen, especially in New York where they kind of got ambushed, that's definitely a helpful thing to keep you guys protected.
Absolutely, when we're working on our reports and whatnot. So.
Yeah. Okay, what else you got?
So we have the computer here, which is really where we run, 70% of our things through. Anything non-emergency, we can type right into the computer. Instead of tying up the radio waves, we have several different police departments that are all on the same radio channel as us. So we can do things through the computer, not tie up that radio time. Okay. In case anyone else were to get in some sort of emergency.
Okay. So do you get 911 dispatches through that too?
We do.
Okay.
So we can self-attach. There's an officer on a phone assignment here. So if I were to see that come through, I can dispatch it to myself. I can jump on that and I can take that. And go and handle that incident and clear it right from here and not even really have to do much communication or tie up much radio time at all.
Wow, that's awesome. Now, sitting in there, I noticed that you got all your equipment on. You got your vest, you got your belt, and that kind of stuff. How does it feel sitting in there? Do you feel squished?
I feel all right. It's comfortable. I mean, there's an armrest here, so you can kind of spread out, and it's not too bad. You do have to get out and stretch your legs from time to time, for sure.
And I hear that Ford specifically built these seats so they don't have those big bolsters on the side, designed for your duty belts.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I can't really even tell. I mean, I have my belt set up in a way to fit properly, but it's not uncomfortable at all. Okay.
What do you got down the center console? Got a couple of different radios?
Yeah, so here, operates pretty much everything, what I would say, on the external of the vehicle. It would be my emergency lights, sirens. We also have alley lights and takedown lights, which would be on the light bar on the top here. There's an LED light that would illuminate in the area in front of us and to the sides of us.
Okay.
Also, we have what's called the Opticom, which syncs with traffic lights, enables us to take control of a traffic light with or without our emergency lights on if we ever needed to do so for whatever reason.
Right. Now, in Exton here, you have some very specific highways. You have Route 100, Route 30, which can get real congested at times.
Sure.
So having an Opticom is very important.
Oh, absolutely.
It helps with that. We did a podcast a while ago about Opticom. So if you guys haven't seen that or listened to that, check out the podcast about Opticom. We talked to them about it. You also have radio, and what's the other things?
So the radio that we have access to, like I said, the Central Dispatch of Chester County, the Central Group. Okay. Which is several other police departments on this channel. We also have, a variety of side channels that we can operate more directly with just West Whiteland officers or even other police departments directly.
Okay. And that's an 800 megahertz radio.
Correct.
Now, can you contact EMS through that, or how do you guys get dispatched?
We can. So we would go through the county radio, police dispatch, requesting EMS, and then they would go through, to contact EMS and send them.
Okay, so it's a private secure channel.
Correct.
Okay, and then what's below that? I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, so this is a V-Spec. It's a speed timing device. Basically what it does is it calculates distance and time and gives you the speed that a vehicle was traveling. You can use it to actively pace a vehicle as I'm following them, where I can measure out 2 points and measure the time that a vehicle takes to go between those 2 points and calculate.
So no more radar detectors or anything like that?
Correct, yeah, we don't have that.
Wow,
so, yeah.
wow. So all those laser detectors that you used to have back in the early 80s are useless.
Well, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what do you got up above your head? I see a camera. And
So this will be the display for the camera, which is mounted right here for the dash cam. So it's through WatchGuard is our system that we use, which is actually synced with our body cameras here. So every morning I go and put this into a dock here.
Okay.
Syncs this up completely. So if my body camera's active, the dash cam gets activated. If the dash cam gets activated, the body camera gets activated. So it's all synced up, and then when that goes into our system, they're actually all linked together. We can actually do a side-by-side view of the car camera playing at the same time as the body camera.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the vehicle here. Before we do, you guys like this video, do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification, because we're really trying to build this. We're trying to get 50,000 subscribers in a couple months. So this is able to transport prisoners or suspects.
Correct.
Okay. And what happened to the seat? I open a door, I expect a seat and seat belt and everything else. This is all changed.
Right. Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to clean.
Okay.
It's a lot of situations that we get into. There's dirt tracked in. I mean, not even necessarily just from prisoners. We end up with dogs and all sorts of things in the back seat, and tracks all sorts of dirt in. But this is significantly easier to clean, and it's more durable. It doesn't get all torn up.
Okay. And it keeps you secure from whoever's back here, right?
Yes,
so if they are getting violent with you, we have a lot of psychiatric patients, not just bad guys, but people that we're trying to protect.
Exactly.
This will protect you from getting hurt also.
Sure.
So, and the bars on the windows are kind of for the same purpose.
Correct.
The one thing I noticed real quick when we open the door, the seatbelt seems to be backwards.
Right.
Why is that?
So it's a safety thing. If an officer had to reach across, it opens an officer up to a prisoner who may be violent, or like you said, a psychiatric patient who may be violent or acting out to injure us in some sort of way. So what this enables us to do is just to seatbelt somebody in without having to even reach across them.
Okay.
Secure them that way.
Yeah, that's very forward thinking. It's one of the things that as a normal civilian wouldn't even think about. Like, I just put someone in the back seat and tell them to put their seatbelt on or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But no, you're going to actually make sure that they're buckled in, make sure that they're safe.
Yes, sir.
So very cool. So, all right, what do you got back here?
So we have all sorts of stuff in the trunk here. We have a basic shield, which we could use in certain situations if we have to search a home or whatever, where there's a risk of, or at least a consideration of a risk of somebody, being inside that may want to hurt us. We have, some gloves. These are stop sticks. So if we're in a situation, where another police department was, in a pursuit or something like that, we could deploy them onto the ground. They would, essentially spike the vehicle.
Okay.
And they're actually designed in a way to slowly release air from tires so that it doesn't cause.
Okay, so they don't all of a sudden, lose control of the vehicle and crash. You're trying to get them to slow down.
Correct.
You're like, we're going to flatten your tires, but you're going to slow and stop eventually.
Exactly.
You have an AED. Are you guys also first responders?
We are, yeah. We use those, quite a bit. A lot of times, just by the nature of it, we get there before the EMS, and a lot of times we are the ones to initially put the pads on. So we do use ours. I'm not going to say often, but
we appreciate you having it. I know, where I work from and work around. A lot of the police officers, like you said, arrive there probably about 2 or 3 minutes before we do.
Correct. That sounds about right.
One of the reasons is you guys get dispatched before us for our own safety. I'm in EMS,
exactly.
So having you guys go out there first. That 2 minutes that you're there before us makes a big difference.
Exactly,
so I thank you for putting the AEDs on board. It looks like you have a kind of a mini tactical vest.
Correct.
Is that, I assume, for active shooter? Because you already have a...
Primarily for active shooter, and any kind of situation where there's a chance that could happen, we would utilize those.
Okay. And what's the big long blue coat hanger?
So that's actually part of. I'll show you the other pieces here. So for certain emergencies, if somebody locks a child in a car or whatnot, we're allowed to utilize these two tools here to separate the door, and then that's just to help us.
Okay, so a wedge and a bladder to kind of pry the door open, and you get the. That's much better than breaking the windows.
Sure.
All too often we check out all their YouTube videos and you see these cops just pounding with their nightstick trying on the window to open it.
Absolutely.
And you just got the kits ready to go. That's pretty cool. So as we continue to make our way around the vehicle, I noticed on the tail that this is a hybrid vehicle. How do you like that? It's both electric and gas, and it's all-wheel drive?
Correct, yeah.
So how does that handle for you?
I have no complaints. I mean, we definitely do noticeably better on gas. We can go, a whole, weekend of 3 consecutive 12-hour shifts and still have, a quarter or a third tank of gas left. Whereas, formerly we would have had to fill up every shift.
Right,
so it's noticeably better on gas for sure.
Okay. And the maintenance on these kind of things. I'm going to open the hood if you don't mind. Look how clean this thing is. You can tell this is one's brand new here. So obvious orange cords as a fire department, we know this is a hybrid vehicle. So, the maintenance on these, how do you guys get a maintenance? Do you send them out? Do you have a guy that takes care of them?
We have a guy that takes care of them. We have a mechanic that, comes and actually will, if we have an issue, he'll come and take the vehicle from here up to our township garage and work on it and make all the corrections.
Okay. And with the electric, I'm going to kind of hit that again. It obviously is a gas saver, but what about power? We're thinking of police vehicles. Maybe you got to get into a pursuit or you need to go to a cardiac arrest that you need to get to pretty quickly. Mm-hmm. Does it have the power that I'm thinking? I'm thinking of the old Crown Vics that we used to drive around, that the V8, and you would get up and go, or even the Impalas. I'm going to take my age a little bit.
Right.
Does this still get that kind of get up and go?
Maybe not quite the same, but it does get up and go. I have no complaints about that, that I've noticed as far as responding to any kind of emergency incidents or whatever.
Okay. Okay. And why a huge brush guard?
So we use that a lot for pushing another vehicle. I mean, if we had a disabled vehicle and they were okay with us, moving their vehicle, we'd actually slowly come up, make contact with their bumper, and gradually move them off the side of the road without
so this
causing
is rubber.
any damage to our vehicle or theirs. Correct.
So this is metal, this is rubber here.
Exactly.
Okay. And most recently we had Hurricane Ida come through and disabled a lot of vehicles.
Yep.
So this probably got pretty good use.
Yep.
Pushing those out of there. So, all right. This is an awesome vehicle. Thank you again for inviting us out.
Thank you.
Once again, this is Heroes Next Door. We just did a station rigs with West Whiteland Police Department. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe, hit that notification so we can keep bringing you more.